Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Safari Mack Explores North America. I'm Safari Mack, your guide and host, helping you make connections to the wild. Can you believe we're only 2 days away from Christmas? It's practically here. And my greatest Christmas gift of all has been occurring almost all year now. It's been you guys continuously showing your support by tuning into my videos each week or sharing my content with others who have a similar love and passion for animals and conservation. So to all of you, thanks. But if you are brand new to my series, welcome. If you haven't done so though, hit that like and subscribe button so that you can stay tuned for more special content, as well as you can submit to me any special requests of certain animals that you would like me to do in the future. But also, check out my Facebook page so that you can check out special conservation tips that you can practice at home, as well as updates from zoos, aquariums, or wildlife parks from all over the world, as well as special conservation projects. And of course, if you have further questions, if you continuously watch my videos and you still have questions about animals that you wanted to ask me, you can always send me an email, which you'll always find the link to down in the description below. But today we are leaving behind the red fox of South Carolina, and we're going to the state of Virginia, where we meet the North American river otter, otherwise really known by its Latin name of Lontra canadensis. Now, I know this creature seems cute, but just bear with me. There's a couple things that you need to know before we determine that, oh, these are just so cute and lovable. So like I said, just bear with me. Now, let's talk about first their family and their evolution. Believe it or not, the otter itself is a member of the weasel family, or the Mustelidae family. This includes animals like badgers, stoats, ferrets, even skunks are part of this family. Now, what makes them connected, and how is the otter connected with all these guys? As you can see, it's their elongated bodies and stubby legs, but it's also that they have a kind of scent gland that they rub all over the place as a form of marking their territory. And let me tell you, it stinks. Really, really bad. We'll get more about that later. But today, there are said to be around 13 different species of otter, but for right now, I have 6 to show you. The African clawless, the giant river otter of South America, the European otter, the Asian small-clawed otter, the river otter, which you can find in different parts of the world, and of course, the ever-famous sea otter. But now, otters in the Mustelidae family first originated on Earth somewhere around 40 million years ago, but the earliest ancestors, of course, would die out, and the animals that we know today, so the creatures that we see today, some biologists believe that they wouldn't appear until roughly around 7 million to 5 million years ago. Now, scientists all believe that otters at one point were mostly a land-dwelling animal, but according to bioexpedition.com, it was thought that eventually the food sources would become limited on the land and they would have to hunt more in the water. And because of their specialized coat, this is what it would enable them to live in a variety of different water temperatures. So this would make it efficient. But now let's leave that for a little bit and go to their habitat and their lifestyle. First of all, you can find river otters almost all across America, with the exception of a good portion of the Midwestern section, mostly due to lack of aquatic habitats. But anywhere else in North America, you can find them in not just rivers, but lakes, ponds, marshes, swamplands. Even the coastlines, you can find river otters. But this has led these creatures to be confused with sea otters, and there are major differences, which I will get to in next week's part 2 episode in the wild things section. So just bear with me, and we'll get there eventually. Now, the river otter's lifestyle, with that of a lifespan of 8 to 9 years, is a life about feeding, playing, and socializing as much as possible, though some otters do prefer to be living alone. Now, when it comes to babies, it's only the female is involved in the rearing of the young, as the males just simply mate with the females, which they are 2/3 larger than a female, and then they just move on with their lives. Now, females are known to usually give birth around to 1 to 3 pups. However, 5 have been recorded, and they can have at least 4, so like this mom is doing. But now, by the time these babies are around 1 year old, they're literally going to be all ready to set and good to go on their own. It's either when they reach a year old or by the time the second litter that mom gives birth to is born. But now, otters have, like I said, otters can either live alone or they can live in social groups. Now, according to the Smithsonian, it's actually said that there is evidence that the river otters playing activities staying together strengthens territory and strengthens bonds and improves hunting techniques and scent mark territories. So these guys usually live in an area that's roughly around 30 square miles or 78 kilometers, but usually it's around 3 to 15 square miles that they can cover. Now, with all that territory, they need to find a lot of food. Now, let me just tell you something about with their diets. First of all, forget hungry, hungry hippos. I think these are more like hungry, hungry otters. That's because of this. Here I have a picture of what 30 pounds of crawfish look like, or the Cajun dish. Why do I have this? This is because river otters tend to eat around 15 to 20% of their body weight in food every day. 15 to 20%. So to make it a little easier, here's an idea. I'm going to give you a little idea to help you understand it better. Imagine a 200-pound person. In order to get around 15 to 20%, that 200-pound person would have to eat 30 to 40 pounds of food every day just to keep their energy up. So that's why otters are consistently on the prowl. They're always looking for food. And they usually do it either in groups or they can, like I said earlier, they can hunt alone. But they're very efficient. And for them, I think their hunting techniques, I think they just like to show off. Because they are able to catch fish, crustaceans, reptiles, amphibians, and they've even been known to catch birds, but they really are not seen to be eating bird eggs as much, unlike the weasel. But now, in terms of mammals, like small mammals, it can happen, but it is incredibly rare for you to see that kind of event. So like I said, they're either looking on the land or they're in the water, constantly looking for food. Let's finish up with today's part 1 episode with their influence in human cultures. Now, unfortunately, I really wasn't able to find too much in terms of their impact in human cultures, with a few exceptions. And a couple of these exceptions actually don't even take place in North America. So, with Native Americans, though, they are often featured on the totem poles where they are honored as having a true playful nature and like they just have a high-spirited, energy level. Kind of in a way, kind of like me. Though, according to my Native American zodiac, I'm not an otter. Apparently, I'm considered to be the salmon. But, like I said, that's just a little bit about me. But now, there are other ways of how otters have been influenced. In Europe, the Europeans believed that the otter was really a kind of god in disguise, and that this is why their characteristics were either that they screamed or that they were chuckling a lot. But they also believed that they honored this otter by always giving it a kind of proper burial if they found a dead one, and that they would hope, and that if you saw one, it was hoped that you could live a long and happy life. Now, another way of how we've displayed otters is they just look like they have this cute, lovable nature. But really, ladies and gentlemen, don't be fooled. These guys are a little bit more mischievous than you may realize. And we will get into that next week. But for right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to close today's Part 1 episodes by wishing you all a happy holidays. And be sure to join me next week for Part 2 of the River Otter. Also, be sure to stay alert for a special post announcement that I will display on both my Facebook page as well as my YouTube page for your special Christmas gift that I hope you've read with Part 2 of The Red Fox. But until next week, this is Safari Mack, and I'll see you all out there. Happy holidays, everyone.